coming up to it, tossing it, catching it, lifting it, like, but you'll never create more tension than you need to because you're learning to use the breath to lift the load. Exactly. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've never done that before. That's so sick.
This is Nsima. He's a pro natural bodybuilder and BJJ black belt who's been blowing up the YouTube scene for good reason. He's incredibly strong, jacked, and a fluid mover. Those things rarely go together. And some of his ideas on strength and movement counter the mainstream narrative. Sandbags have become a treasured tool for Nsima because along with a few other tools, it's helped him solve back pain and unlock a hidden strength not found in modern day gyms. He tweaked his back lifting in a 150-pound sandbag when he could deadlift well over 500 pounds. That's when he knew he needed to change things up.
There's something wrong with the way I'm moving that I find this to be difficult. It doesn't matter how strong you are with the barbell, you need to retrain your ability to lift with the breath.
He's discovered that lifting with the breath and getting strong in uncommon positions leads to higher quality of movement.
The sandbag helped me unlock a way of creating strength in odd positions.
I want you guys to know that sandbags aren't very expensive and it gives you a natural way to get as strong as an ox in your backyard or apartment. Here's where to start.
Learn how to do just like you were gonna hinge with the barbell, learn how to go to the sandbag and kind of do a sandbag deadlift. So inhale, exhale. So when doing this as a deadlift, let me slow it down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Now, one may think that when you're inhaling going down, you're training yourself to lose position. But what we're learning how to do, we're learning how to maintain the position of our structure without having to brace the structure where now we can't move. So I'm keeping this rib cage over pelvis position as I'm coming down, even though I'm not breathing. And then when I exhale, and I have people do this all the time, but I want you to do that, do that, do it again. What do you feel?
Tension.
Where?
Core.
Yeah. That exhale allows us and gives us that natural amount of tension to lift the load safely. So now when I come to this, inhale, exhale, I'm creating just enough tension. What you'll notice is as we get to heavier and heavier loads and as I lift heavier bags, the sound that comes out of my body, the is heavier, it's louder. And it's louder because it's me creating more tension. Like for example, to lift this, it's 200. I wasn't doing that so I could sound tough. I was doing that because that was the tension that my body needed to create to maintain its structure to come up with that. But I also wasn't super tense when doing so.
With the sandbag being a bit more natural, not these handles and stuff, a lot of the time you're gonna find that you're gonna be in a deeper position. And are you okay with people rounding their spine? And how's that conversation go for you?
I am okay with that, but that's where, again, we always have to start with very light load. The first sandbag I got was the 150 because I was 150 pounds. Whatever. Dog. I actually tweaked my back.
Really?
Doing stuff with the 150.
Wow. How much could you deadlift at the time?
Over 500 easily. Over 500 easily.
Oh my God.
But the thing is when you're getting your body into this position to lift this load off the ground, you already notice that there's a different position on my pelvis, right? I'm here, so there's even a slight bit of rounding there. There's a slight bit of play in my scapula when I get myself around this. I'm not here like I would be in a deadlift. I'm here so I can form my body around the bag, right? And then, right? It's not this perfect neutral position. So I tweaked myself because my body wasn't comfortable creating the right amount of tension to get that off the ground. And there would be instances where I would hold my breath, tighten up too much. There'd be a tweak or something, and then I'd have to drop it. So that's why I suggest that this is 100, but most people should get themselves a 50 or a 75.
You kind of do this two-step thing where you lift from the ground and then you almost regrip. Is that kind of the way that? So we're here. Is there any standard for deadlifting a sandbag? Is that your technique? Is that how you're supposed to do it?
So if you pay attention to the strong men and strong women, they have a very efficient technique when lifting the bag. First off, I don't think that they would do it here. They would come right here by the bag, right? They would get over it. Then they would lift here, then come here. Then they would come here. And then if they want to get it to the shoulder, that's where they would
wow,
be. That's
okay.
the efficient way of lifting a sandbag.
Okay.
But for anybody starting out,
Yep.
I'll start with the sandbag deadlift. Then I would learn how to, you know, get it here, get it to the chest. I would add some squatting into what I'm doing with the bag. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Then I would learn how to maintain position and just breathe while walking around with it. So before I even work on getting it to my shoulder, I'd want to be able to just walk around with this thing.
Yeah.
Because again, I need to maintain enough tension in my structure to move around, but I need to be able to breathe so I don't run out of breath while doing this.
What I found with these as well is because it's right here sitting on your belly, you kind of got to expansive breathe, right? Like
Yeah,
breathe
you have to breathe
back
into
of
the
your rib cage.
diaphragm.
Yeah, yeah.
Some people are just very, very anxious too.
Yeah.
And it just causes this natural anxious breath.
Totally.
And always trying to keep this flat is the problem.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So we need to allow ourselves to breathe into the diaphragm and use that, because now when we bring this here, bring this to the chest, it teaches you how to breathe against the bag.
Yeah.
So you want to use the bag almost like a feedback, right?
Yeah.
Are you breathing into the bag, or if you're breathing up here, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Breathe into the bag, right? With the efficient way of lifting the bag, you can learn how to do it efficiently, where you're here, right? Then here, one arm comes under, one arm comes over.
Okay.
Then you're going to come here.
Yeah.
And then if you want to get it to your right shoulder, this arm that's on the bottom is going to help you, where boom, into the
Okay.
shoulder,
Okay.
right? And then you can walk around, become familiar with the sandbag on the shoulder,
Yeah.
put it down.
So the shoulder that you're gonna go to, that arm goes on top.
The shoulder, yeah. So if you bring it to your right shoulder, your left arm's on the bottom, right arm's
Okay.
on top.
So it'd come like here,
Yep.
here.
And then when you, boom,
Okay, yeah, that's
That arm
super
helps.
natural. Yeah,
right?
I like that.
That would be the simplest way, most efficient way of getting it to the shoulder. Exactly. But then, when you become familiar with that, now I think, how many ways could we try to get this to the shoulder? So with the sandbag, there is a long angle of the bag, which would be here,
Yep.
right? And then there's a short angle of the bag, which would be here.
Right, okay.
So after a certain point, I stopped thinking about efficiency and I start thinking about like movement creativity. Like for you, when you're doing handstands and handstand walks and all these different things, you've come to a point where you're just like, let me see what happens when I put all my weight on this one hand. And then when I come back,
Explorative, right?
explorative, exactly. So now how can we explore getting it to the shoulder? So it's a little bit harder when the sandbag's in the short way, but you can learn how to here, just create that
Okay.
hip bump right to the shoulder.
Yeah.
You could come long ways, right? And you could try to do it in one fell swoop. So,
Okay. Oh,
Right?
yeah.
so that's the thing. It's like you don't start with the one, but like when you build familiarity, then like, let's see, can we just create all the force at once
Okay.
and skip it?
Yeah.
Because I think that that's actually going to be something that's very good for power production.
As I get older, I'm constantly looking for ways to challenge myself without feeling drained for the next few days. And when I train with sandbags, it's amazing how I almost feel fresher the day after, even right after I leave the session. This might not matter to a 20-year-old, but for a 30, 40, 50-year-old, this starts to matter a lot. And I think what Nsima shares right here is a super valuable chunk of knowledge that no one is talking about.
Last thing I'm going to mention on the breathing bit. I wish I came up with this term, but I'm always going to give my buddy credit for this. His name is Graham Tuttle, the Barefoot Sprinter.
Okay, yeah.
So we started working with sandbags. We were having a conversation one day, and he was like, you know, when you work with sandbags, it teaches you how to create intelligent tension to meet the demand. So when you're lifting a heavy barbell, you've been trained to,
Yeah.
some people exhale on the way up, but you're trained to create as much pressure as possible
Yeah.
so that your torso doesn't buckle under the load.
Yeah.
But with the sandbag, when you learn to do this while you learn to breathe, you learn to create the right amount of tension, like we were just talking about for the demand, that intelligent tension.
Yeah.
So the amount of tension you'll create will be more and more the heavier bags that you lift.
Okay, yeah.
But you'll never create more tension than you need to, because you're learning to use the breath to lift the load, right?
Yeah.
And what that leads to is it has an effect on the way you globally move through space outside of the gym.
Yes.
Because a
okay.
lot of people, especially those who, and this has been myself too, when we train with barbells so much with these implements, throughout our day, we're still holding on to some of the tension we were creating in the gym.
Yeah.
So we're holding this tension here, we're holding tension in our traps,
Yeah.
we're holding all this tension and we're moving around like this, but we need a,
Yeah.
right? Why are we creating tension right now? They're not lifting everything.
No.
You need to relax.
Yeah,
you need to let
exactly.
these, because that'll also let you recover better when your tissues can relax
Dude,
more.
well, I've had the experience of having a really intense strength training session and then like almost waking up in the middle of the night and just feeling like I'm holding tension while I'm sleeping, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I'm still in my sympathetic, and that's beautiful about what you're saying about this teaches you how to just hit that right level, but then maybe be able to leave it when I'm done, right? And
Yes.
go back out into the world.
Which will allow you to actually, this will be something that allows you to recover from session to session. What has happened for myself and for many people that have done this, that I've shown this to, there are way less breath holds and excess tension during your session.
Yeah.
You notice that you also recover better from session to session. That's something I get back from everyone that
Yeah.
learns how to breathe while they lift.
Yeah.
They don't feel as stressed from session to session because they're keeping that breath going.
Strength training for athletes is a tricky conversation. Some say get as strong as you can in the weight room and then go get better at your sport, while others argue that for more agile athletes like MMA fighters, basketball players, strength training will actually lead to worse performance. Instead, work on speed and plyometrics. Like most things, it probably lands in the middle. We want to get strong until it starts to impede on other abilities. But maybe the way that we use our strength is important, and this intelligent tension could be the key for the functional strength needed for athletics.
I think the first sandbag I get, the try to action move was a 150, and it wasn't one that I owned. It was in a gym, and when I got up to it and I tried to lift it, I immediately put it down. I didn't lift it successfully. I immediately put it down because I was like, something's gonna happen to my back.
Yeah, like I don't want to hurt myself.
Right? That felt weird to me because I saw other people lift it and they were just like, they just got it up easily, right?
Yeah,
And I was just like, there's something wrong with the way I'm moving that I find this to be difficult, right? And those are people lifting it in a strongman style. So I learned the strongman style of lifting the bag, right? Leveraging. But then as I did that, I realized like, okay, you know what? Let me try to see if I can just always just walk up to the bag in different ways and just get it up safely.
Okay.
Right? And
Yeah.
like I mentioned, even though it was just 150 pounds that I worked with initially, I got that. I tweaked my back. It made me realize like, it doesn't matter how strong you are with the barbell, you need to retrain your ability to lift with the breath, right?
Yeah.
And then when I did that, now I do that with barbells too. I don't just do this with sandbags. I do
Okay.
this with kettlebells. I do this with barbells where I breathe while using it, while lifting. Like the rope helped kind of unlock my back. The sandbag has helped me like unlock a way of creating strength in odd positions.
Yeah.
Right? Because like I mentioned, when I lift this bag right here, the way I've been lifting it is not the efficient way of lifting it. But when I walk up to this, what goes in my mind is how can I, right? Like it does, like how can I adjust my body on the fly?
Okay.
That's
yeah.
what I think about. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
and that
yeah.
wouldn't be something I would suggest to somebody, like coming up to it, tossing it, catching it, lifting it. Like I'm thinking about trying to, again, treat it like a dynamic human being.
Yeah.
Because for me, when I grapple with somebody, I'm going in different positions, I'm pushing, I'm pulling. My body has to organically respond to the pressures of another human being.
Yeah.
So when I lift it, when I think about this, I think about how can I create a movement where I'm having to respond to the pressures of the back, where I can just, again, move dynamically with it. So it allows me to create strength in so many different positions.
So the way we all want to get started on the bag is doing your basics, right? Your deadlifts, your squats. But what you'll start to see is it's not that much different than training in the gym with dumbbells. But Nsima is going to show us this very cool drill that he calls fighting with the bag. Heck, you might even call it dancing with the bag. And it might just be this that unlocks this hidden farm boy strength that you just can't quite get in a gym.
One thing that you learn with dumbbells and barbells, adding weight is kind of easy to a certain point.
Straightforward.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that your body's actually ready to lift that load, even though you can lift it. I mean, how many of us have lifted weight and we did it, but then we got off of it and we're like, fuck.
Yeah.
That's happened to me more times than I can count, bro.
Yeah, same, yeah.
And it's like, okay, you lifted it, but was that actually good for you?
Right. You got the outcome, but like, what went wrong in the process?
You know, you're gonna be paying for that for a few weeks, maybe.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? I do these things that I call like fighting with the sandbag.
Okay.
And what I'll do is I'll get the bag, and my goal is to like, let's say, for 2 or 3 minutes, I'm just gonna breathe.
Dude, that is so cool. I love that.
Around a bit.
So you're just getting yourself in tons of organic positions.
I'm playing with it.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and I'm seeing like, how can my body adjust to this load? Like,
Oh my gosh, yes.
what can I do with this? How can I just like come back on one leg here?
Ooh,
Keep
yes.
breathing. Come up. Right? Bring it back. Come down to a squat. Just become accustomed
Yeah.
to like breathing and moving with this thing. Right? So you can get in reps of squats, you can get in these rested positions.
Yeah.
But exactly, like you're building a level of understanding of your body underneath load.
Right.
And you're learning how to adjust. And it doesn't need to start with this weight. It can start with a 50-pound bag,
Right,
a 75-pound
right.
bag, right? Right? So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, just build familiarity.
Dude,
Come
that's
back
so
here.
cool. And so how long is this just
It'll be
organic
like, it'll
or will
be
you put
3
on
to
a
5
timer or
minutes.
something?
It'll be 3 to 5 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to start with 3 to 5 minutes. You can start with 1 minute.
Yeah.
Start with 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? But I try to aim for 3 to 5, where it's just like, okay, all right, let me get back up now. Let me throw it up to the shoulder, right?
Yeah.
Walk around, just like, again, the goal is familiarity. I can create a strong structure with 100 something pounds on my shoulder. I'm okay.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, like you can have so much, exactly. Oh yeah, oh yeah, I've never done that before. That's so sick. Exactly. There's a video of actually someone from the, her name's Angela. She does these grapplers rolls where you have the sandbag here,
Okay.
you army roll with that thing,
Oh.
and then you come up. So you're here.
Oh.
Right?
That's so cool, yeah. Now, grip and forearm training has become very popular because it's just so valuable for being a functional human. Now, could sandbag training really improve all of this? I love doing more natural movement. I love like training in nature as much as I can, getting outside.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I might have heard you say like barbell, it's like this perfect shaped thing, but it's like, oh, a sandbag is like nature, you know? You gotta like, there's no handles, you gotta figure out how to get under it. And it seems so natural to me, and that would have good carryover into everyday life. You know?
I have this thing, like, even if you go back to some of my oldest videos on my YouTube channel, there's a video where I talk about how much muscle you can gain naturally, and I was harping about how small my wrists were. And statistically, for how large I am, my wrists are quite small.
Okay.
But with that being said, when you work with the sandbag, like you mentioned, you have this open palm. You have to get your hands in this positioning, whereas like you can't just be here, you're here. So now
Right.
when you lift, your hands are working in these different ways that you're not usually getting when you work with a barbell. That is
Right.
one of the reasons why my hands have been getting stronger. You have been doing all this hand work and handstand stuff, so I think that's probably a gap that's already been filled for you. So you're gonna just continue getting really strong with these. Your hands will have a gap to fill. But this is, for me, it's made a very big difference, even in the size of my overall hands over time.
Yeah.
Starting to train with these, which I think is powerful for people. I think that we need to kind of let go of just thinking about muscle.
Right.
And
right.
I like adopt more of the style that you think about all this stuff. Because you're muscular, but you also can move well, you can run, you feel good every day, you have body weight control, you're gaining strength with all these different things, like you're very well-rounded. And I think for a majority of people that don't have to specialize, let's say you're not trying to be a bodybuilder, because I was a pro natural bodybuilder, I was a power lifter.
Yeah.
If you're not thinking about specializing, then just think about being like, for you, for your interest and your goals, the most well-rounded athlete you can be. Well, when I started lifting, there was no YouTube, but when I got into YouTube fitness, like we were talking, like there was Elliot Hulse,
Yeah.
there was Chris Jones, there's the Hodge twins, there's
Yeah.
like,
Hodge twins. Yeah. Yeah.
like Matt Ogus was big. Like there,
Yeah.
you know, there are all these people that like, you know, it was all about muscle, and I kind of got caught up in that where I'm like, yeah, I want to gain all this muscle. But like, it was normal to walk around super stiff.
Yeah.
It was normal to not be flexible.
Yeah.
It was normal to like not sprint or do any of these things because that's going to get in the way of your gains.
Yeah.
It was normal to let go of all of these inherently human, very human traits.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
In the to look like Goku, to look like a Dragon Ball character. You know what I mean? That's why, like, I'm happy I took up jiu-jitsu when I did, because I think where I am right now is a happy accident of taking up Brazilian jiu-jitsu, taking up a martial art. If I didn't take that up, I don't think anything would have forced me to get out of the traditional training mindset. You know what I mean? Because I realized how tight I was in the martial art, and like how how much better this person that was 160 pounds was than me, beating me up, being 100 pounds heavier than them.
Okay.
And they could move better than me. So
Yeah.
that's what got me into like getting to more flexibility work, stretching more.
Yeah.
Then learning about all these different implements that would help me. Like, that's what got me out of that. And then like now I realize if I could redo everything and I could start lifting again, I would still lift. I would still use different implements. I would still probably gain the same amount of muscle per se, but I would have like your movement ability. Your ability to move on, all of that. Like that's what I'm building towards too, in terms of that other stuff.
Yeah.
In a similar frame.
Yeah.
And like that is so much more freedom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like being able to do handstands, be able to hang from one hand, just chilling. Like that video you guys did where you're hanging for like 10 minutes. Like what the like having that level of like ability while also having some muscle is what my goal is and what my goal would be.
Nsima said some nice words about me. I really appreciate it, but I gotta tell you guys, he's one of the best movers I've ever seen in person. Check out his YouTube channel. It's the first link in the description. We also filmed some stuff on rope flow and the mace. So if you guys want to see part 2 to this conversation, comment below, let us know, we'll get on it.